Hey all, thanks for sticking around. We're going to start our concert proper at this point. We'll give you a concert somewhere, it'll end somewhere around 9 o'clock, probably before, unlikely after, but that's okay. We always start with singing the national anthem. Yes, I mean singing the national anthem. Yes, I mean you. Because the more we sing together, the more we actually start to recognize that we are a nation of people. I know the logic doesn't carry there, but trust me, it works. Stand, please. Thank you. And our flag is over there. And as I say, please, please, please sing along. Next piece we're going to do is a march, and it's by Kenneth J. Alford, who was friends with an Army colonel, and the colonel had a hard time playing golf well, and he would always like miss one shot or kind of that thing, so he was always getting bogeys. And so Mr. Kenneth Alford wrote this march in honor of his friend, and he called it Colonel Bogey. You will recognize this, and you may whistle along. if you are a veteran of one of our armed services, would you please just wave? Excellent, excellent. Anybody else? Yes? Good, 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 good. We're going to be playing our salute to the armed forces. And it's going to be Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Space Force. All six that are currently active. When you hear yours, please stand up and be recognized, because your gift to us is very important, and all in active service, their gift is equally as important. And we need to acknowledge that, I think. Thank you. Song of our Space Force. The Coast Guard. Do I have any Coast Guard folk out here tonight? thank you to all veterans and all active service people out there. So the next piece that we're going to play for you is by a gentleman by the name of Jaime Tejidor, a very, very successful pianist and march band leader. I believe it was from Cuba. I did a little bit of research the other day, and I always thought that this was like Castle on the Hill, but apparently it's called the Sheltered Cliff. It's actually named for a piano student of Tejidor's, which I find kind of interesting. There you go. So this is Amporrita Roca, and by Jaime Tejidor. I like saying that name. We're going to bring you now back a century or so, back to New Orleans when jazz was really starting to wind up. And this is an old Dixieland tune turned into more of a swing tune called That Is a Plenty. From the mid-20th century to the late 20th century, Henry Mancini was very active as a film composer, TV score composer, and we're going to give you now a medley of some of his songs. The medley is called Mancini Magic, and it's got Mr. Lucky, which I've never heard before, but okay. Baby Elephant Walk, that one I've heard before. Moon River, wider than a mile, I think we've heard that. Charade, that one I don't know. This one you know, the Pink Panther. And then you've also got Peter Gunn, which you may not think you know yet, but you do. For many of us, the whole Star Wars saga began, well, with Episode 4, which is strange enough. But at any rate, back in 1977, 1978, I was there too, and I saw the movie 3 times. That was a lot for me. But anyway, it has grown and grown and grown with lots of offshoot movies and even offshoot TV series. A couple of years ago, really popular was one called The Mandalorian. And we're going to be giving you that particular theme song now. Star Wars, The Mandalorian. So along about the same time as Star Wars came out, there was this thing called disco music, and it kind of swept the nation. Even I, who was kind of a classical geek, even back then in 6th grade, can you believe? I know. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Anyway, yes, so even I got swept up into it. Love some disco. And this here, we've got Staying Alive, I Will Survive, and of course YMCA, which is participatory. So yeah, I took a picture of us because we're different every week. It's a kind of interesting concept, but anybody who arrives at about 7 o'clock, a little bit before, they are with their instrument, of course. They are welcome to join in and rehearse with us. And sometimes it's really, really wonderful, and sometimes it's not quite. Yeah, tonight's wonderful. It is. That's true. So yes, indeed. So thank you. So yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say, if you know someone who plays tuba or plays clarinet, I really need you to pressure them to be here. We really need some tubas and some clarinets. Am I wrong? I think we need some clarinets here, and we have no tuba right now. So I don't know, man. Help us out. We got Mike. We got Mike doing the Barry sax over here, which is kind of a tuba-esque, but you know. Anyway, we're gonna play you a song by Pharrell Williams, only about 15 years old now, called "Happy." So I'm not sure that I introduced us or introduced myself. This is the Cate Park Band. We're here almost every non-rainy Wednesday during the summer from July through August. My name is Scott Lounsbury. I have had the honor of directing this wonderful group of musicians for many years now, about 2.5 decades or more. So yes, I know. It's really, time flies when you're having fun. You live in Wolfeboro and all of a sudden 3 decades have gone. Wow, man. But anyway, we're going to give you some highlights from the Broadway show, which was taken from pop music, called a jukebox musical. That's more than you wanted to know. It's called Jersey Boys, and you'll hear Walk Like a Man and Big Girls Don't Cry, Rag Doll, December 1963 was a very special time for me, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. All right, so there were two different versions, and now there's a third version of the whole Frank Baum story of the Wizard of Oz. We have, of course, the very famous one from the 1930s, Judy Garland and Ray Bolger and all that crew. Beautiful stuff. And lots of great songs from that. Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, We're Off to See the Wizard, The Merry Old Land of Oz. But then there was also one in the mid-'70s called The Wiz, which was kind of a funky take on the whole thing. And there's a couple that you're going to hear from there, too. So You Wanted to See the Wizard and A Brand New Day, which is also called Everybody Rejoice. In the middle of it, there's a heck of a page turn, so we just pretend like there's a tornado coming through. On TM. we've come to the determination that this next piece is an example of ska punk. It's by a band called Dropkick Murphys. They are very famous. I remember several years ago the Red Sox used to dance to them, to their song "I'm Shipping Up to Boston," which is what we're going to play for you now. And so here we go. I'm shipping up to Boston. Thank you all very much for being here. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure entertaining you this evening. Have a wonderful night. Isn't it great that it's nice and cool now, huh? I was going to play hot, 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 but I decided against it because, it's cool. Thank you. Have a good week. See you next week.